Hello. How are you? How was your week? Did you do anything interesting? Did you do anything for yourself? Hopefully you did. So, today I want to talk to your partner. Whether that's your best friend, your family member, someone you're in love with, whoever your support person is or people are, that's who I want to talk to. Now, if you're in the veterinary field and your loved one is also in a veterinary field, you need to listen to this too. All right, so both of you. So make sure with this video you either have them, you either share this video with them, make them watch it, whatever. Okay, just make sure they see this. So for that person, so the person you love as a friend, family member, or in love with works in a field that has the highest suicide rate in the medical field. You may even work in this field with them. If you do, make sure you watch this as well. All right? But being a supportive partner to help prevent enduring burnout involves creating a compassionate space for your partner to express their feelings without judgment. Validating their experience and taking on a shared load of responsibilities at home to reduce their burden. If you don't live together, go over and help out where you can. You can also encourage self-care, celebrate small successes, and suggesting professional help if needed. So that's not saying that everybody needs to go have professional help or anything. Just sometimes that's the only solution. You can only do so much. You can only go so far, and there's nothing wrong with that, by no means. Okay. So, what can you do? So during conversations, you can listen actively and empathetically. So focus on truly understanding their feelings rather than jumping to offer solutions. You also want to be a non-judgmental listener. So you want to create a safe space for them to vent without fear of criticism or being told their feelings aren't valid. So sometimes you just need to vent, okay? All those feelings built up inside of them because how their work day goes, the way they work, what they have to do, it builds up inside of them and they don't have a way to release it. And sometimes they just need to vent, they just need to talk. And a lot of times, like, think about when you vent. Sometimes you just need to either yell, scream, or just get it out, or even cry. Men cry too, so that can go for both men and women. So yell, scream, and cry, get it out. And sometimes once they get it out, they feel better. And they're going to say things that they may not mean. They're going to say things that they may say something they might not mean in that moment, but they just need to get it out. And if they get it out, that's what they need to do. And sometimes you just need to let them, and you just need to listen, okay? They don't want solutions. They just want somebody to listen. Also, you want to validate their exhaustion. So use phrases that acknowledge their struggles, such as, "It makes so much sense that you're this tired. You've been carrying so much." Because because not only are they physically exhausted, mentally exhausted, but they're also emotionally exhausted. So adding that on top of it. Okay. Being emotionally exhausted is a lot. Have you ever, I'd say in a sense, think about it like, oh, they call it the ugly cry, right? So you start crying and you cry too much, like you're just tired. I still remember at my mother's funeral, like towards the end of her funeral, I had cried so much, like I was almost falling asleep at the funeral because I had cried so much. So take that and then add on it their physical work day, and then mentally having to think about what they need to do on top of dealing with their emotions, on top of dealing with the owner's emotions, depending on the situation. It's a lot. Okay? And never, 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 never tell them, never say, I don't understand why you're so tired all the time. Is there something wrong with you? Maybe you need to go see a doctor. Never say that to them, because they're trying to work through what they had experienced at work. Their emotions, if they get their mental exhaustion and if they get their mental exhaustion through their physical exhaustion, they work through that. They still have their emotional exhaustion they have to work through, depending on what kind of work they do. Okay. So never tell them that, especially if they work overnights. If they're emergency and they work overnights, trying to get your body adjusted to that, your system readjusted to that. Some people are just meant to do that. Like there are some people that are just, they work over, they do that. Other people, they have to readjust and, work with them. Okay. Help them out. What can you do? Find out from them what you can do. Okay. Ask open-ended questions to go beyond how are you? To ask about positive moments or what might help them feel better, which can inspire new thoughts. So if they come home, they had a bad day, bad case, or whatever. I know sometimes Sean will come home, and if he had a bad case, I don't want to talk about it right now. Okay, that's fine. If you don't want to talk about it, that's okay. I'm here when you're ready to talk about it or talk through it. But in the meantime, what was a good case you had today? Did you have a fun experience with an animal? Like, for instance, yesterday, he saw a lot of cases, but there was this one Burmese dog. I guess evidently his dad had taught him how to give hugs. So he just he was giving Sean hugs and attacking him with hugs and giving him kisses. Like things like that. Or if they can't think of a case that day that they had, try to remember cases they talked to you about that had a positive outcome or that they were excited about, like from previous days or previous shifts. And start talking to them about that to kind of get them laughing, smiling, like they can do something. Okay. So that's conversation. Practical support. So you can share the burden at home. So offer specific help with tasks like cooking meals or handling errands to alleviate overwhelming workload. So right now, I stay at home with this little one. Luckily, I appreciate my husband for that. I'm taking a much needed break from retail and working on doing other things, getting other things going in that. But in the meantime, I do most of the stuff here around the house. On days that Sean works, I get up in the morning and I fix his breakfast and I fix him lunch. I do this because it helps him to sleep in when he wants to in the morning. He can exercise in the morning. He has his morning routine he likes to do. And then because I fix his food when he's in the shower, and I go ahead and fix our tea, so we can all sit down together while he eats. Bentley and I can have tea time, and we sit down together and we enjoy that time together, and it's a nice decompression before he goes into work. When he, while he's working, like I do things that need to be done around here, whether it's like washing clothes so I take on majority of the housework because I'm not going out to a physical job and working. I don't have a full-time job. And I'm not saying if you do remote, I'm not saying, if you do remote work, do your work schedule. Definitely do your work schedule. Don't, just because you do remote work doesn't mean you stay at home by all means. I do know that. I'm not saying that by no means. But because you're at home, you can work in more chores in between that. So try to, if you see them kind of getting overwhelmed with things at work, try to do more around the house, things that they would normally do it for them. Even if it's a little surprise here or there, it's not necessarily mean you have to pick it up all the time. It's just, you here and there helps out a lot, and that nice little surprise is really nice. So yes, encourage self-care. Force them to do something for themselves. Okay. Whatever works for them. If they like to go for a jog, if they like to go for massages, if they like to, whatever they like to do that helps them decompress, make them go do it. If they say, I don't have the time, or I got to do something, if you have kids or whatever, say, I'll take care of that. You go do that. Or go do it with them. If they like to go get a massage, do a couple's massage or a friend's massage or whatever. Go do a mani pedi together. Men, trust me, get a pedicure. Not a pedicure, manicure, pedicure. Yes, pedicure. Get a pedicure. If your wife likes to have mani pedis done, go get a pedicure with her. It's okay. Men do have many manicures done as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Have nice clean nails. It's, and somebody massaging your feet. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Go do it. Okay? So that's an option. But encourage them to take care of themselves, to do something for themselves. Foster connection and hope. So remind them of past experience through photos, stories, or asking them to make future plans to bring some happiness. So this I highly encourage in a sense. Sorry, I meant to grab these before the video. So past experiences. My husband, Sean's been doing this for almost 20 years. So he's been given gifts such as this, cases that he's seen, this, these, a lot of them, and he has cards, pictures. A lot of them are success cases. Some of them are some of them are cases that he has helped the owners or the parents help them through one of the most difficult times in their lives. Reminders of things that they have done need to happen. When they go through and beat themselves up over a case they can't help, or they might have done something wrong, remind them of the ones that they did. There are colleagues of Sean who I will forever be grateful for because of the decisions that they have made with their husky that gave us 3 more weeks with her. And each doctor is going to have, or each person, whether it's even vet techs or assistants, they're going to have those cases where those owners will be forever grateful to them for whatever reasons. Remind them of these. Remind them that what they do is good and only they can do what they do. Okay? Have them make future plans. So even if, hey, let's go do so-and-so next week, that gives them something to look forward to and be excited about. Okay? Sorry. Long-term strategy. Suggest professional help if you need to. There's nothing wrong with talking to someone, whether it's a grief counselor or there are people who work through burnout. I would say more so you have EPA through, well, right now we have EPA through insurance. Every place has it. A lot of times you can get 3 to 5 sessions for free. They can talk to someone. Definitely suggest that. There's nothing wrong with that. After my mom passed, I had to go see a grief counselor. It took some encouraging because I'm like, no, I don't need to. Sean was actually the first person to suggest that. And then I had a couple other friends suggest that I should do that. And they say there's nothing wrong with it. Go do it. So we did. Sean said, if you do it, I'll go with you if you want me to. We did. And so it helps. You also have Not One More Vet that provides a lot of resources. So definitely do that. There's nothing wrong with it. I suggest that. Celebrate progress, no matter how small. So even if they feel a little excited, if they have a good day at work, feel a little excited about going to work, whatever, celebrate that. So anything small, even no matter how small it is, but it's a little bit, celebrate it, all right? Because the goal is to work through this, right? And to prevent it. Maintain boundaries. Your partner may need space at the time, so respect their need for solitude without letting them feel isolated. Let me tell you, my husband, he likes his alone time. I like my alone time. We typically have our alone time together. One of his huge debriefings is playing video games on the computer. I like to play video games too. I typically play mine at a different time than he does, and that's okay. But normally when he is playing video games, having a long time, I am doing things I need to get done on the computer, or I may be doing some other things that I would be doing if he wasn't here and would work better if he wasn't here, if that makes sense. We all know we have those certain things that we do that typically works better when the other one's not around. But let them have their alone time. Do not take it personal if they want their alone time. Okay? It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with the fact that they need to work through with whatever they're going through. All right? So let them play video games. I don't care if they sit there for 4 hours on their day off playing video games. Let them do it. If that's what works for them, let them do it. Figure out your own schedule around that and do what you can do and need to do without them. All right? That's just my soapbox. Sorry. And it's also crucial to remember that preventing and working through burnout is a process that requires patience, understanding, and that you must also prioritize your own well-being to sustain your support. So remember that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Activity, practice self-care, manage your own stress, and maintain your own support network. And most importantly, be there and support them and make sure they know you are there and are in their corner. Okay. You can also watch The Cost of Caring on PBS to better understand what they are going through. Now, I will say it doesn't really cover that much of emergency medicine. I think they typically do GP, but that's okay. But it still gives you somewhat of a concept. Just if your loved one is in emergency, just realize that the cases they see are way more traumatic than what you're going to see on this docuseries. Okay, or documentary. So just keep that in mind. All right. Also, too, another thing I do like about it, there is a husband on here who his wife is a veterinarian, and they talk about her day, and she'll call him on her way home, and depending on the type of day she has, he'll have a glass of wine ready for her when she gets set. It's just those little things of knowing that they have someone to come home to in a safe space that they can talk to, they feel secure with, and they feel safe with no matter how they feel. And they can feel okay in their feelings, and you will protect them in their while they're feeling vulnerable in their feelings. Okay? That's what you need. All right? So, with that being said, all right, remember, if they need someone to talk to, they have Lifeboat with Not One More Vet, NOMV with Not One More. So that is the peer-to-peer. So definitely suggest that. They have 988. They can call and text if they need to talk to someone immediately. The peer-to-peer Lifeboat is like the first go around is 72. It takes 72 hours for someone to reach out. After that, it's like 24 hours for them to reach out if they reach out. But if they need someone to talk to immediately, 988. Or they can text home to 741-741. If you start feeling, keep an eye on them, okay? If you feel like there's a possibility that they could be suicidal or moving into themselves, turning in themselves and not mention these things, you know, the Lifeboat is a peer-to-peer. If you feel like they need to talk to someone else who is in the industry, Lifeboat, all right? Don't hesitate to mention these things to them. Talk to them and listen, okay? All right. So with that being said, this is important for them and for you, especially if you work in the industry. So, inspired by an old poem, you may not know that the world needs you, but it does. For no one else can smile your smile, say your piece, shine your light. You are unique, and you alone can fill your place. If you were not here to shine your light, what would happen to the pilgrims passing by your empty place in the darkness without your light to help them on their way? You may not know that the world needs you, but it does. Remember, what you do matters, and the world is a better place with you in it. All right. Until next week, take care and do something for yourself, and make sure you listen to your loved ones.